Fire chief. That's so bad, man. What was gonna be easier to clean? We don't do it.
No, they said I'm going to give it to Ian. Let me tell me what you did. Come up to the last Who did?
Oh, okay, good. I don't think you can read my script.
Who's somebody? I don't know names. I don't know who's somebody.
Well, Jennifer,
This could
Secretary
be,
Jennifer
this could be a
gave it to me.
terrorist.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah, that's for, Fox. But, one starts, we can figure.
There are a lot of people here.
No, LHS,
Still, most of the lines.
contest,
Moving on to level.
We do have a quorum. We'll call the city council meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the invocation given by Councilman Gilmore and pledge both the American and Texas flags led by Mayor Pro Tem Bond.
Please join me in a moment's silence.
you do that?
Amen.
Please join me in pledging of allegiance to the flag and the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you.
Ann, if you'd come down and join me, please. Thank you. This is Ann Wagons, and Ann is over our wonderful library that we have, and we have a special presentation to present to her and all of her staff and all her volunteers, many volunteers that work and help in the library. As you know, a few years ago, 3 years ago, I guess? No. 7 years ago, my gosh. 7 years ago, we built this new library, tripled our size, basically, and it is just one of the most outstanding libraries in Denton County. I've said many times that my assistant, who's been with me now 20 years this year, she has a master's degree, and she went to North Texas, and she told me she always used our library because it was much more user-friendly than the one up there at North Texas and TWU both. So I've always been very proud of it. I've had a personal pride for it, and we're very proud of all that they do. And tonight, we're going to present an award here in a minute, but I just want to tell you that this award, out of the 500, nearly 600 public libraries in the state of Texas, there were only 30 libraries that were given this designation and given this award this year. We're really proud of it, and not only that, but this is the 8th consecutive year that we've received this award for our library. So we're very proud of that. With Ann, we want to say thank you very much for it, and I want to present this plaque to you. And I will simply read this plaque and then give you a few moments to say something if you'd like. It's from the Texas Municipal Library Directors Association, 2012 Achievement of Excellence in Libraries, presented to the Louisville Public Library. Let's get a photo unless you say a few words. Ian, wouldn't you like to say a few words? Come right up here.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and I do want to thank you again for now the 7th year for the lovely building that you have given to your citizens. It's because of your continued funding year after year that the library has become the vibrant part of education in this community that it is today. The part that you play is the funding, the part that the staff plays is that everyday delivery of customer service. And I just point out to you 4 parts of our library that happen day after day after day. The library inspires reading to educate through self-education. And in Louisville, at least, I can guarantee you that the book is still alive, and we're loaning more than 1,900 books per day. So just keep that number in your head. We'll be asking for more money for next year. The library cultivates learning across the community through research assistance. The staff answered over 114,000 research inquiries, and online more than 24,000 access points happen for the online research tools that we purchased through your funding. The library connects people to ideas through author visits, reading incentive programs, and music and art and cultural events. More than 30,000 residents of this community attended more than 1,000 events in the library over the past year. And last, the library partners for success in life with the Chamber of Commerce, the school district, and other educational and financial and medical research and educational organizations in the community to provide lifelong learning for life skills. Thank you again. Appreciate your help.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you again for the work you do. Please tell your mom here. Thank you very much for putting this out.
Thank you.
And I just want you to know that my books will be returned by the 20th, as the library notice just told me, so thank you.
And since TJ pitched in, I want to add one other thing. The library also promotes visitorship. We have a lot of people that come in from outside of Louisville. They come here, they spend sales tax money, and that makes us very happy.
We certainly are very proud of our library. Gosh, I just can't believe it's been 7 years, but we are extremely proud of that. Next item on the agenda is the public hearing, consideration of an ordinance for a zone change request from general business to estate townhome on 13.81 acres located at the northwest corner of North Summit Avenue and Civic Circle, further identified as Lot 1, Block A, Valley Ridge Business Park from Business Park West, Phase 6, as requested by Magatel Homes on behalf of the property owner. Magatel Homes is proposing to construct approximately 72 single-family detached dwelling units. The estate townhome zoning district offers more flexible setbacks than other residential zoning categories, but requires a significantly larger home size. Minimum unit size is required to be 2,000 square feet of livable floor space. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the zoning request by a vote of 5-0 at their February 19, 2013 meeting. I do have a card here filled out by Mr. Don Plunk. He is in support of this. Did you want to speak, sir? Yes, sir. If you would, come forward and give your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council and staff, my name is Don Plunk. I'm with Henry S. Miller Development Group in Dallas. My office is at 5001 Spring Valley Road, Suite 1100 West in Dallas. I represent Magatel Homes, who is the contracted purchaser of this property and proposed developer and builder. We also represented, or at least our Miller firm represented, the current owner of the property who acquired it in 2001. It is zoned general business, but there's been very little, almost nil, of approaches to her to use the property for general business. So it seemed more beneficial to the city and to her, who is now a widow. The owner of the property died late last year. She has 2 or 3 properties in Louisville that she's now wishing to dispose of. Megatel is a very active builder in the state of Texas and in the Southwest. They've been here only about 6 years, but they'll close almost 1,000 units this year between Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, Lubbock, Oklahoma City. We'll soon have them in Mississippi and in Phoenix. They are a very well-built builder. Their product that's most similar to what's being proposed for this site is now being built in a subdivision in McKinney called Robinson Ridge. They are detached, single-family front entry dwellings. They range from 2,000 plus square feet up to about 3,500 square feet. I think the presentation or the application is self-explanatory, so if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer it. Otherwise, I won't say anything further, Mayor.
Council, is there any questions?
Yes, Mayor, I've got a couple of quick questions.
Go ahead.
Mr. Plunk, thank you, number one, for coming to Louisville. I saw a couple of photographs here in the supplemental material of properties.
Yes.
Could you maybe describe those particular properties and if they're representative of what we're going to see here in Louisville?
They are. The intent of Megatel is to build the same product that they're now building in McKinney. You have a sample of, I think, 3 front entry, 2-car garage detached dwellings. As I've explained to staff, the cost of the lots here are going to be some fraction above or factor higher than the McKinney lots were. So the product here will more likely start in the 240s and go up over 300,000. Probably about 70 to 75% of the units will be 2-story. We are asking that there be a waiver granted so that they can be front entry. If you will notice in those photographs, if they are in your packet for the entire council, the front doors or the garage doors are decorative. They're usually cedar and stained to match the wood on the house. So they're not metal. They're not a simple, plain, blank front garage door. So they are decorative. The reason we're asking for the front entry, 2 reasons. One, that's the product they're now building, and rather than design a new product, they would just continue to build the same one. And 2, in a lot of their locations, they're offering swimming pools included in the price of the house. It's not a big swimming pool, but it is a swimming pool. And with the front entry garages, it gives more room for the recreational space in the rear of the house. If you do a rear entry, they have a very small backyard. Most of the front yard is not suitable for recreation. So by using the front entry garages, they have a lot more room to use the backyard for recreation. And this price product and the way it's being built is attractive to young married couples. So there's usually school-age children. So that gives them more room to play within the backyard rather than play in the street. Not that they would let them, but it does anyway.
Counselor?
Council, just to clarify, there's no waiver or no variance in front of you today. This is just the zoning change request.
Thank you.
True.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
But I do appreciate you, I'm glad the counselor clarified that this is just a zoning issue, but I am also commend you for letting us know that is your intent once you move forward to
Yes.
try to do that kind of a project.
We tried to have a preliminary plat go concurrent with the zoning, but we couldn't get all the information together in time, so it will come back
Right.
as a preliminary plat. But during that course, we will also ask a waiver of the council for the front entry garages.
Right.
But that's
Well, this
not
is
being
just-
asked tonight.
Right, while this is just a zoning. Did anyone else have a question, or?
Thank you, sir.
That is all I have, so entertaining a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing?
Second?
Have a motion to close public hearing by Councilman Ferguson, a second by Councilman Gilmore. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Whoop, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're
Nope,
He's good.
that's right. So we don't have to read that?
Well, you were just closing the public hearing.
Oh, I'm
Need-
sorry.
need a motion to
I got
approve.
ahead of myself. I'm sorry. I'm like, wait a minute. Yes, motion to close public hearing is approved. Okay, Councilman Grana?
Move to approve the
As, move to approve as presented. Sorry, Dean Bramage. I thought you were going to call
Second?
somebody else.
Have a motion by Councilor Grinner to approve as presented, a second by Councilman Ferguson.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, that amends the zoning ordinance of the City of Louisville, Texas, granting zoning changes on the 13.81-acre tract of land fully and completely described in the attached Exhibit A, ordering a change in the use of said property from general business district zoning to estate townhouse district zoning, correcting the official zoning map, preserving all other portions of the zoning ordinance, providing a clause relating to severability, determining that the public interest and general welfare demand a zoning change and amendment therein made, providing a penalty, and declaring an emergency.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is Visitor Citizens Forum. At this time, any person with business before the council not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the council. No formal action can be taken on these items at this meeting. Do have a couple of cards here filled out. Brent Carmichael? You just give us your name and address for the record, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Brent Carmichael, 1193 Marchant Place here in Louisville. Mayor, I do have a couple handouts I'd like to give to you.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you, sir.
My name is Brent Carmichael. I am here on behalf of 4U Academy, which is a nonprofit organization here that helps individuals and families in 4 areas. One area is autism awareness. I have a son who has autism. Another is sports instruction as a former professional athlete. I kind of try to help young people believe in education and education through sports. One is fundraising, which is helping other organizations raise money. And then the last one is social awareness, which is doing presentations for families to help them with violence prevention or how to work with kids. And actually, I did one presentation with the library, so that was pretty good. On the reason I'm here tonight is to let you know that Autism Awareness Month is coming next month. And what I've done through my organization has developed an autism alert decal. And what this decal is to help police, fire, EMS know that in an emergency situation that there is someone with autism in that vehicle or in that home. What I'm here to ask you for today is if you could give me some guidance or some advice on how we could implement this program here in Louisville. That's important to me, of course, because I do have a son with autism. We have gotten stopped several times, not here in Texas, but throughout, he's 26 years old, throughout our career together. And I do want to try and find ways to help decrease the conflict between police and fire and EMS with individuals that have autism. So that's what I'm here for this evening, is to see if you could help us get this alert decal implemented here in the city of Louisville. What you have before you is just information, but then that link is a link that the WFAA, the ABC affiliate here in Dallas, did a story on it. So if you go to that link, you'll be able to get more information about how this whole concept came about. And that's all I have.
Okay, we can't actually take any action on it tonight, but I will have staff see if they can't get someone to get in touch with you to give you the information that you need to kind of go forward and how you would work about going forward on that. I want to commend you for what you're doing. I think it's very good. I've got a very good friend that works with autistic children, and it is a very worthwhile cause, and it's something that needs to be addressed. And in fact, we're actually having this Saturday, this Saturday evening, Louisville High School is having their grand ball that they do with Circle of Friends here in Louisville,
Yes, sir.
which does help and work with special needs children. So we do commend you on that, and we may be able to get you in touch with them.
Okay, I'm also employed by Louisville School District. So.
Oh, okay.
So I'm with Circle of Friends also. But remember to light it up blue for the month of April. Yes, sir.
I do have one thing. I don't know if you mentioned it, but for the listeners on the videotape, your website is foruacademy.org. That's
FOURU, the letter U.
Yes, sir.
Academy.org. Just
Yes, sir.
wanted to make sure. Now, can they go there and print one of these off and put one in?
They cannot. They'd have to contact me. I actually have them as stickers. They can't print one off of the website, no.
Well, they can't print them off, put them in the window?
No.
All right,
I haven't got that capability yet.
okay.
We'll work on it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
you.
Have a good evening.
Have another card, Mr. Frank Vaughn.
Hi, how are y'all? My name is Frank Vaughn. I'm at 311 Harrod Street, Louisville 75057. About 20 years ago, we moved in that old house, and it had a picket fence around it that was falling apart. And my wife liked the picket fence, so we had to rebuild it and fix it all up. And it was good for keeping the kids in, and now it's good for keeping the dog in. The fence, over 20 years, is starting to fall apart. It's got busted rails and some busted rotten pickets. So my son and I, about a month ago, took down some sections, straightened up the posts, rebuilt some rails, finished it in 2 weekends. And then 3 weeks after we finished it, we got a door hanger saying that we had to have a fence repair permit. So I took off work, she can't do it online, went down to get a fence repair permit, found out I needed 3 copies of my site plan plus an architectural drawing by an architect for the fence to get the fence repair permit. And this is a 32-inch high ornamental picket fence. And it runs about 180 feet. We replaced about 11 sections, 88 feet, or repaired. We replaced posts. We repaired, different pieces of the fence. Kept the gate, kept the backs and the front, the side there. So I found out what I needed. I had to go to Denton County. I got the site survey because it was over 20 years since we had it done. Brought it back up, got somebody to sign off on the fence line, and I got my permit. So, it was $50. I spent $350 on supplies and parts and $50 for the permit, and I got it. Fair enough, I needed a permit. But what I'm saying is that I think this law kind of has an unintended consequence in that there's no provision in there for homeowner repair on the fence. So anytime you replace a picket or a rail on the fence, you have to get a permit, and you have to have the 3 site plans, and you have to have an architectural standard. And I know the intention of the plan was good, is to keep people from just throwing up fences everywhere, and that's a good intention. But what it does is it inhibits people from repairing their fences. If I just let the fence slowly rot, I'd probably have been okay. Been okay. But since I repaired it and I'm upkeeping my property, I got to get the fence permit. So I'm just asking you to look at some other cities, Irving, Denton, Flower Mound, several other cities. They allow homeowners to replace a certain number of pickets or a certain number of length of fence without a permit required if they keep it the same materials and the same fence. So I just ask that you guys look at that permit and see if you can put a proviso in there to allow homeowner repair. And come look at my fence. We painted it this weekend. I can hardly walk today, but it's all there. So thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. All the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be self-explanatory by the council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or citizen so requests. For a citizen to request removal of an item, a speaker card must be filled out and submitted to the city secretary. I had no cards filled out. No one asked for anything to be removed or pulled. Councilman Gilmore? I'm sorry.
Move to approve.
Well,
the
hold,
consent-
excuse me. What?
Was my item 7 on?
It's not on consent agenda.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Councilman Gilmore, I'm sorry.
Move to approve the consent agenda as written.
Have a motion by Councilman Gilmore to approve the consent agenda as written.
Second.
Second by Councilman Ferguson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5 is consideration of a preliminary plat of Brookside Addition, a 10.994 acre parcel zoned town east, zoned estate townhouse with 40 residential lots and 3 drainage right-of-ways located on the southeast quadrant of Southwest Parkway and Misty Lane with 2 associated variances as requested by Half and Associates, Inc., representing the property owner. This property was recently rezoned from general business to estate townhouse with the intent to build 40 single-family detached residential units. The lots and homes will conform to the requirements of a detached product in the estate townhouse zoning with the exception of the following two variances being requested. A is to waive the alley requirement, thus providing frontage lots, and B, to allow a right-of-way radius for the Chelsea Court cul-de-sac to be 55 feet in lieu of 60 feet. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the preliminary plat and variances 6-0 on their March 5th, 2013 meeting. We do have a card here. Recommendation of staff is that council approve the plat and variances as set forth in the caption above. We do have a card filled out here by Mr. Robert Gossett, and he is available to answer any, he's with Half Associates, and he's here to answer any questions that might be asked. Is that correct, sir? Yes, okay. Do council have any questions they want to ask of Mr. Gossett? Okay, hearing none. Councilman Ferguson?
Yes, just a quick comment. This is the, make sure I lost track here where I am.
Number 5.
Okay. This property is the one that at one time was being looked at as a drilling site. I've talked about that before. With this proposal, we're looking at single-family homes, which I think is certainly what I had asked council to look at 2 years ago. We're looking at $400,000 per year in property taxes collected. I think this is, it's, you know, what should have happened here, and I want to thank the council for their foresight in allowing a project like this to come to fruition at this location. So with that, I would ask to approve.
Was that in form of a motion?
Yes.
Second. We have a motion by Councilman Ferguson to approve as presented, a second by Councilman Durham. Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Which one are we voting?
I'm
for?
sorry, item 5.
I meant, are we voting on variance A or B?
He requested, his motion was to approve as set forth in the above caption, so that would be both.
Okay.
Did you have a?
Did you have some discussion you'd like to have about it?
No, sir, I already previously spoke on it in the workshop.
Okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay?
Item passes 4-1. Item number 6 is consideration of a request for variances to Louisville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 6, Article 3, Section 6-54, Engineering Site Plan Requirements, Article 6, Section 6-12, Landscaping Requirements, Article 7, Section 6-144, Screening Wall between commercial and residential use for the proposed expansion of the National Indoor RV Center located at 498 East Highway 121, as requested by Hal Kendrick, the owner. National Indoor RV Center is expanding their facility to accommodate sales and servicing of recreational vehicles, which triggers an engineering site plan. NIRVC currently operates on the north adjoining property out of a 149,917 square foot building. NIRVC requires more space for the sale of the RV units, thus allowing more indoor storage for potential customers. NIRVC is requesting the following variances. A, waive the requirement for the required 3 interior landscape trees and tree islands, and B, waive the required masonry screening wall and allow the wrought iron style fencing with landscaping enhancements. The recommendation is that council approve the variances as set forth in the above caption. Councilman Vaughn.
Of course.
I thought you had something you wanted to say.
Lucky number.
Mayor, I can't.
I'm sorry, Councilman, before you do that, I'm sorry, we do have a gentleman here by the name of Hal Kendrick. I apologize, Councilman, I wanted to let him know. We do have a gentleman here by the name of Hal Kendrick, who is in support of this, but he does not wish to speak unless you have questions. So he is here if you have questions for him. Now, go ahead. I'm sorry, Councilman.
Mayor, I'd just like to reiterate that I am in favor of the moving of the landscape trees, but I am not in favor of allowing a wrought iron style fence instead of what the ordinance calls for, a masonry block wall. So what do I need to do?
Well, you can see what the rest of the council wants to do, or you could make a motion with your, if you want to make a motion, you can certainly make a motion
Right.
with your preferences.
No, I don't, I choose not to make a motion.
Okay?
I'll let another councilman make the motion.
Councilman Durham, anybody else have anything on this?
Just want to get something clear. So you're saying that, that if the motion was made as is, you're against it? Is that right? Because you'd rather have it to be solid wall?
Yes,
Okay, but right now it's written so that we're going to replace it with wrought iron. Okay, so if it fails for that, then that would mean that it would stay a solid wall. Is that correct?
that's my understanding.
Correct.
Okay.
If the motion, if
All right, well, I'm with you on that. I just wanted you to know. I just wanted to make sure which way I was voting.
Okay.
any other discussion on this?
Yes, sir, I have a question for our city attorney. Can this be split into two motions? I thought it could be.
You want to do each variance separately?
Yeah, you could do each variance
Go ahead.
separately, so then you would be able to get past the issue you've raised, so. I do have some thoughts on it. When I look at the subject property, I mean, I appreciate what Councilman Vaughn's concerns are. When I look at the subject property, this is a very long and very narrow property, and I can certainly understand both why, from a financial point of view, the owner might not want to do that wall, but also just looking at shall we call it the lay of the land, I just don't see a problem with the iron fence. I think the masonry screening wall really would present a more, the phrase used in workshop was institutional look, and I agree with that, but I would like to see the motions separated into two separate actions.
We'll entertain either more discussion or a motion.
Do I make a motion to bifurcate this? Is that what I do?
Make the motion however you want.
Yeah,
and-
make the motion however you'd like.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the variance dealing with the landscaping trees and tree islands.
We have a motion by Councilman Vaughn to approve variance A, which is waive the requirement for the required 3 interior landscaping trees and tree islands.
Second.
Second by Councilman Durham. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Someone want to address item B?
Mayor, I move we approve the second item.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Durham to approve variance B, which is to waive the required masonry screening wall and allow wrought iron style fencing with landscaping enhancements. We have a second by Councilman Gilmore. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Motion carries 3-2. Item 7, consideration of a request for 2 variances to Louisville City Code, Chapter 6, Article 8, Section 6-166,
Fine with me.
parking requirements based on use, in Chapter 2, Article 8, Section 2-201, development and construction fee relating to the residence located at 1121 Marywood Drive, as requested by David and Jackie Mosier, the property owners. Recommendation, or the single-family residence was built in 1983 with an alley entry attached two-car garage. The property owners desire to convert the garage to a living space in order to provide residence for their son and his wife, as they have significant medical needs that require assistance. The city code was amended on April 18, 2011, disallowing garage conversions unless the equivalent of the garage can be reconstructed on the same lot. Property owners have indicated that an addition to the house in lieu of the garage conversion is economically unfeasible at this time. The owners agree that should the variance be approved, the garage would be converted back should they sell their residence or their children relocate. A similar variance was granted by City Council on August 15, 2011 for 418 Wood Drive, although the applicant did not request the variance fee be waived. Recommendation of council, staff is that council consider the variance as set forth in the caption above, and that the enclosure, provided that the enclosure is returned to a garage at such time the residence is sold and/or the conversion is vacated by the Mosier family, and to deny the request for waiving of the variance fee. I do have a card here filled out by Miss Jacqueline Mosier. If you'd like to come forward and speak. Did you want to speak, ma'am? I'm sorry. Or are you just here to answer questions? I'm sorry.
Mayor and council, Mrs. Mosier asked that I stand up here with her.
But of course, not a problem.
Told her you're a bunch of nice guys not to worry about it.
We've never had anybody ask them to stand next to him, but that's okay. We're glad you like him. How can we be assistance to you?
Well, I understand there's a problem with the thought of the house going into foreclosure, and our house is paid for free and clear. And the other thought of if my husband and I were to die and our 3 children would inherit the home, that it would be vacant, and that wouldn't be an issue because only one of my children owns their own home, and the other 2 do not. So somebody would, move in immediately because it's paid for.
I understand.
Probably better if you had any questions for her. Then.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
I think one of the, talking in the staff, I think one of the questions, ma'am, was the concern, and we certainly understand your circumstance, and I don't think that's the situation. I think one of the concerns was how the city would know if the property was sold. In other words, if you said you sold your house, you'd be willing to have it torn out. The question was, how would the city know the property was sold, because we're not notified if a property is sold? And that was one of the concerns, I think.
Well, when there's a transfer of title, you can't flag that, or can I sign something promising to tell you, or?
Right, and I think that was what the question was there something that we could put into place that would require notification of the property being sold?
And
I'll
as
let you address that, Counselor.
I would just need to look into that. I don't know off the top of my head, Mayor.
Yeah, we don't know if that's feasible to do right now or not, so that's what we were going to look into. Let me ask this, is there a time constraint issue with you here? I mean, are you needing to do this immediately?
That would be good.
Okay.
The house is little, and my daughter-in-law has to prepare things organically for them, and, they have a very different life than my husband and I.
Right.
Mayor, I don't know if the council's preference is to, or inclination is to go forward with this request and grant it. If it were, and the only remaining issue is the question of transferability and how we get notified of that transfer, I'm wondering if one possibility might be to approve it contingent on us coming up with a satisfactory means of obtaining that documentation or notification.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to suggest.
If not, then we would bring it back for you to evaluate the need for that. But if it were, then maybe we can get that answer in another day or so and act on it without having to reschedule it on another agenda.
Mayor?
Yes.
I know we've sort of bogged down on the transfer of the property, but aren't we talking about we want to be able to enforce the changing of the enclosed area back to a garage?
Correct.
And that's all we're really looking at.
Right.
Can we just turn that over to the staff to figure a way to make that work? And we can make a motion now contingent on that happening.
I think that's what city manager was suggesting, and that's kind of what I was going to reference to, too, would that not be possible to do? That's what I was going to ask staff, but according to what city manager's saying, it would be possible to prove it contingent on us being able to come up with us, the city, come up with a mechanism in which to enforce the garage being converted, the enclosure being converted back into a garage. Isn't that what you're saying?
And I would put that in the form of a motion.
If we could go into executive session for consultation with attorney for just a minute.
Okay, we will, and this is nothing against you or anything, man, we're just going to go back so we can discuss some legal issues, and then we'll be right back, okay?
Okay,
So
I
now-
have a question.
Oh, sure.
In our subdivision of some 100 homes.
Yes, ma'am.
There's 12 garages that have been converted, and they don't have carport. Well, one has a carport now, and the rest, they don't have garages. We are, my subdivision is an alley, you know. And so all these people, you have to find a way to flag their property, that if they sell.
Now, I'll let staff address that for you as to why that happened and what the situation is now is a little bit different with those properties.
Yeah, most of those probably occurred prior to the passage of the ordinance that prohibits the garage enclosures, which is a relatively recent development.
And the reason we did put that ordinance into place was because we were having a complaint from another number of citizens, and it was a citizen committee that made that recommendation. I think there were, how many people were on that neighborhood? There was 5 citizens on that committee, and they came up and did a lot of research, and they made the recommendation to do that because we were having a problem with people, and certainly not in your circumstance, but a lot of people building enclosed and stuff and had multiple families moving in and then parking in the streets and parking in the yards and things like this. So this was a way to try to help curb that. And then what is open is for you to come forward and ask for a variance or extenuating circumstances. So that's kind of why those did it before the ordinance was passed. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And we'll now convene into the closed session. Consultation with attorney. We'll convene back into regular session. Ms. Mosier, just want to let you know, we weren't trying to get around anything. We were just trying to make sure we had all of our legal ducks in a row and everything, and I think we maybe have come up with something here. So we do have a motion on the table or on the floor right now. Councilman Durham has, and correct me if I get this wrong, Councilor, but has a motion that we approve the variance conditional on the what wasn't conditional, what was it?
Continue.
Contingent on the fact that staff will come up with a mechanism in which to notify the city of any change of ownership or vacating of the property by the Mosier. Is that correct, Councilman Durham?
Yes.
Just to clarify, Mayor, the motion is to approve the variance with two contingencies. One, that it be converted back to a garage if it's sold or the children move out. And two, if city staff can find a way to, whatever you just said, I'm sorry, notify or give the city notice.
Notification. Is that correct, Councilman?
I think we're making it too complicated again. If we could just say if the property ever vacated or transfers, because that way it could be given to somebody, it could go to a church, and there wasn't any cash changed hands. But if it's ever transferred to anyone else, then the conversion back to a garage would occur.
So,
However we have to do that, that's what I want to have.
so if the children move out but they keep the house, you don't want it converted back?
If we're going to say if it's either vacated or the ownership transfers, then I think that it would have to be converted back
Or the
to,
medical needs no longer needed.
well, I don't know if we want to get into that.
I mean, that's why that's why the variance is being,
I wouldn't want to get into the medical needs because then you have a whole nother issue. But if we could just do the transfer of the property or if it's vacated for the medical needs.
the variance is
That
still,
being-
that's
hold on,
certainly
hold on.
something.
We got to let him make his motion and first. He needs to get his motion firm set with the counselor first, and then we can have, see if we want a second, and then discussion.
Okay? Where are we at now with the counselor?
Julie, can you tell us what motion is on?
Okay,
I think we have a motion to approve the variance with a contingency that if the property is sold or transferred, then the garage has to be converted back.
And
the only thing other would be possibly if it's vacated. And that would be if there was no reason for a medical need there any longer.
Well, I thought you wanted to do away with that part.
That's a question that came up to somebody else, but I just do not have it in there.
okay, let's get your motion in there, what you want.
Okay, it's what Claude just stated.
Okay, but, and that staff come up with a mechanism to assure that we're notified.
I'm going to say, it, I don't really care about the notification. I want that the
I see.
conversion occur back to a garage.
I see what you're saying, okay. So your motion is without the staff coming up with a mechanism for notification?
No, there would have to be the contingency that they would come up with a plan to put all that into effect.
Okay, all right.
Second.
Is that suitable with you, Counselor? Okay, we do have a motion, and we do have a second.
Yes.
I believe by Councilman Gilmore. Any discussion now?
What is the motion?
I knew
I was gonna
it.
get
I
asked.
knew it.
Julie, you want to give us the motion?
Here's how I understand it, since I'll be the one that has to deal with it anyhow. We're granting the variance to allow the garage enclosure. There's going to be two variances, or two contingencies on that variance. One is that we identify some mechanism for there to be notice to the city in the event that the property is sold or transferred, sold or transferred only.
Now
So that means,
So if the medical,
Doesn't matter.
that's the motion that's being
That's the
made.
motion I understood him to make.
That's correct.
Okay.
The second contingency is that it's converted back.
Converted back.
If it's sold or transferred.
Are you okay with that, Councilman Durham?
Yes. And then the staff will come up with something to make that be in
Right.
effect.
That's part of the motion. And that was the motion you second, Councilman Gilmore?
I'm good with that, Mayor.
Okay. Understand the motion now?
Yes, sir.
Councilman? Okay. Okay, any discussion on that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay?
Motion carries. Cleve, if you'll inform Ms. Mosier of the outcome. Thank you, sir. Okay, that brings us to item 8, which, this is one that, consideration and acceptance of a donation of 30 assault rifles from Heckler and Koch for use by the police department's tactical unit. Staff has asked us to pull this item because that offer is no longer there. That donation is no longer available. So there's no action to be taken on this item.
Darn.
That brings us down to reports. Nika. Bob. Chief. Linda. Chief?
No, sir.
Okay. Carol, how things going, ma'am? Still need that rain, don't we? Still need a lot of rain. Lord will take care of it. One way or another, he'll take care of it. Donna, congratulations, ma'am. Good to have you back.
What's congratulations for?
I'll let her tell you that. She got to meet my mother. What can I say? You have anything else, Donna?
That is worth
To report? Nothing to report?
Nothing to report.
How was the skiing?
Skiing was good.
Brenda? I apologize. Mr. Paris? Mr. Backus? Councilman Durham?
Nothing, Mayor.
Councilman Guarina?
Nothing, Mayor.
Councilman Gilmore?
Mayor, just a quick reminder to everybody, go over to keeplouisvillebeautiful.org. April 20th, we have our big spring trash cleanup. It's a lot of fun. It gets a little competitive, and by God, we need it. If you haven't been out in some of our areas, those plastic bags and cans add up over the winter. That's all, Mayor.
Mr. King?
Out of
No,
the back
sir.
of the trucks that aren't covered.
Councilman Ferguson?
Yes, Mayor, I have MCL events, and I'm finally back and organized on that. Thursday, March 21st is monthly hotel motel attractions meeting. For anybody interested in that, you can talk to Mr. Kunke. Friday, March 22nd, LISD art show reception. This is an exhibit that we did last year. We're doing again this year for LISD art student finalists. I believe the current exhibit is middle school and high school. This reception kicks off a 2-week run of juried exhibition of artworks by high school, so there you are. It's free to the public, and that's Friday, March 22nd, 7 to 9 p.m. Tuesday, March 26th is a monthly partners luncheon for Chamber of Commerce, and also a free showing of Invisible War by the Denton County Friends of Family. And that's a documentary. And then Friday the 29th, Johnny Crawford of the Rifleman fame, for those of us old enough to remember the Rifleman, has reinvented his career as a crooner and band leader, and he will be performing at 8 p.m. Then Thursday, April 4th, Oliver, the Broadway musical, will be put on by students from the acting studio in Grapevine, and again, that show on April 5th. And that kind of sums it up. So, thank you.
Councilman Vaughn?
Yes, sir, just a couple things. I'd just like to remind everybody that Panda Cup 2013 starts this weekend at the Railroad Park, and it's the greatest opportunity to see just about every level of soccer being played. And in addition, they have one category called the handicap division, I guess, and some of the artists that belong in this division are also painters, and we'll have a few things, items, pictures, and that sort of thing for sale. And the other item I have is I'd like to congratulate Louisville High School. Their speech and debate team won a nationwide contest. They will be moving on to the next level, which is March 23rd, and that's in Arlington, the University of Arlington. And we have 3 individuals out of 8 in the state that are the top individuals. 3 students belong to LISD. And I think that's quite an accomplishment. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, sir. Counselor? Julie? Officer, once again, we want to thank you very much for being here tonight and for all the work you do each and every day.
Thank you, Mayor.
Along with your fellow officers. Thank you.
Thank
And I second what Councilman Vaughn was saying. The Padna Cup International is a tremendous event that happens out at Lake Park. How many years we've had this now, Bob? It's 4th year, and that's just awesome. It is a great event if you have a chance to get out there and see that. And the other thing on Louisville High School, I mentioned a little bit earlier, but they are having their grand ball this weekend. It's actually the prom night for special needs children, and that they have special children that have stepped forward and are their circle of friends throughout the year. It's a wonderful event. If you have any interest in donating your time or resources to them, if you'll just call Louisville High School and tell them you'd like to help with the Circle of Friends Grand Ball, I'm sure they'd be able to accommodate you. With that, we will, in accordance with Texas Government Code, Subchapter D, Section 551.072, Property Acquisition, Section 551.087, Deliberation regarding Economic Development Negotiations, we will now convene into closed session. Okay, so, come on.
On that last item, so what happened with the... I don't have a taser. I don't have a taser. I wanted that medical.
I didn't want to
That's why I voted against it.
Right.
I meant,
No taser?
I could have. I really, because we said if it vacated
You've seen him out of the
or
field with no
what?
taser.
Transfer.
Do you have a taser?
But suppose
We
the
need
kids
a taser.
get me in trouble.
get well and move on.
We need a taser. We have one.
She said,
We're going back in.
Chief, I'll give you a program.
That's why I said I wanted the medical in there.
We'll convene back in regular session. Is there any action to be taken, council?
Motion to adjourn.
Boy, that was good. I have no idea who made that motion, but I heard it. Who
It
made
was in stereo.
It was in stereo, and I don't know who made it.
Move to adjourn.
Had a motion to adjourn by Councilman
Second.
Grena, second by Councilman Ferguson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'm kidding you. It was just like coming from around the room.